No. Cambio de diapositiva. Hi guys. Bueno. Hi guys. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I think we should start. Uh, okay, thank you for coming. This is my first academy. I'm sorry for the bad English, and since I live with Christine, my English is getting worse, actually. And I just wanted to share you my experience about what I did before coming here. So I traveled for, whoa, for almost 1 year around Asia. So it was really, really, really nice. I have like some highlights. I have a lot of pictures. I will try to be as quick as I can. But yeah, you can interrupt me and ask and comment. So just be free to do so. Uh, I'm going to present myself. I'm Manuel. I'm from Mexico. Um, Hi, welcome. This is my family, my brother. He's my best friend, definitely. And this is my dog in Mexico. She's Lola. She's beautiful and she's possessed by the devil. And the thing about how did I choose to travel around is because, believe it or not, I was a businessman in Mexico. I worked for 7 years in a pharmaceutical company. And since I was an intern, so one day they promoted me and they made me a manager, which was really nice. I was earning good money and so on, and life in that way was kind of easy, but it was not making me happiness. So I think like happiness cannot be measured with the zeros of your check account. So one Monday I woke up and I decided to quit my job. Then I came back home and my parents, of course, asked me if I was on drugs or something like that. And at the next Saturday, I bought a one-way flight ticket to Thailand. Uh, they asked me once again if I was really high or something. And I flew 1 month later without any plans, without having like a round trip flight or whatever. And I just decided to go with the flow, to chill out, to have stories, to have experiences, to meet people and see what I was capable to do for myself. 2000 from 2013 to 2014, July to July, I think some of this. Nati, you can sit. There are some chairs if you want. So I chose Thailand because actually it was like the cheapest destination to fly from Mexico City. So and I really wanted to be there. And I chose Asia in general because it was really nice. It had nature, culture, nice people, the food, everything. So yeah, that was like why I chose Asia in general. And everybody told me like actually I shouldn't stay longer than 3 or 4 days in Bangkok because it's a nice city, it's a big one, but as any other big city, like the best of the country, it's outside, it's in the nature, it's in the people. But I met a girl, so I did the opposite. Yeah. So instead of staying like 3 days, I stayed like 3 weeks or something. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of, kind of. Actually, we met in the same guest house, and we were like living just in front, and we were coming back like every night to hang around with the people at the guest house. And then I met a very good friend of mine, which his name I can't remember, but I promise that he's a really nice friend of mine. And he told me that he was going to another place in Thailand, Kanchanaburi. I don't know if you have been there. It's just 2 hours in a driving distance from Bangkok. And I googled what the hell Kanchanaburi was because I didn't have like any idea, and I didn't have like I told you any plans about what to do. And I discovered that it was related to Second World War, and it had a lot of culture, and then the people were very nice there. So I didn't think twice, and I went there. This is Nongbua. It's a little town in Kanchanaburi. It's like 45 minutes from the bus station, so it was a little bit far away. And I stay actually in the same guest house in which my friend was staying. I didn't tell him like anything. So one day he came back and he saw me by surprise. And of course, like we had some drinks that night, we celebrated. And then the next day he departed, but I met no, not this time. Well, it was Lonely Planet. And I met a couple very nice friends from Australia. Um, she was from Belgium and he was from Ireland or something. Well, the thing is, like, they met in Australia and they lived there for 1 year, like doing like all kind of things, picking up fruit, teaching, waitering, whatever. And I thought, like, wow, that's a really cool way to travel around, you know, because you earn some money, you earn experiences, and you extend your travels and blah blah blah. And the owners of that guest house were a French married with a Thai woman, and he heard me talking about it, and he said, "Hey, Manuel, if you want to, I know that there is a school close to our guest house that is looking for an English teacher. You can try." And this is then actually she was really really nice. At some moment, like, she started calling me like son, and I started calling her like mom. So we were like a really big family, and those were like the cute dogs that live in the guest house. One of them was Blackbird, and the other one was Becky, but I was always confusing them. So one day I just put it like the T-shirts too. I said, yeah, okay, Blackbird is the black one, and Becky is the yellow one. And then I went to the school, which was not close to the guest house. It was just like 1 hour from the town in which I was living. It was in the middle of nowhere, seriously, like in the middle of the mountains, very close to Burma, just only like 14 kilometers or something like that. Hard to explain, but since the first moment that I got there, I fell in love with the children. Not like Michael Jackson stuff or something like that. But they were really, really, really nice. And the teachers there were really, really nice as well. Nobody spoke their English, just two other teachers and like barely English. And I felt like an alien in there. The children were very respectful, but I was actually the first foreigner to step in that school. So if I was walking like in one direction, like the children were doing this, but walking in the opposite direction. So I felt like, what do I have? You know, like, I'm not so ugly. Like, why they don't want to talk to me? But it was incredible. So after a couple of weeks, I couldn't take a picture of one of them because I had like 10 around in less than 5 seconds. So the change was wonderful, and they were all, hey, hello, teacher Manu, good morning, teacher Manu. So I felt like a rock star. So it was, I have never been feel so popular. So they were lovely. At the third day or the second day, so the director of the school took out a speaker. He gave me a microphone. He took out like the 300 children to the garden and then he gave me the microphone and he said, "Okay, you have 2 hours." I was like, "2 hours for what?" He said, "I don't know. Now you're the teacher." I was like, "Oh shit!" So I don't know if you have played Pictionary, you know, with mimics and everything. Well, I was playing Pictionary every day. Like I was singing, I was doing mimics, I was doing games or everything. And at the end, it's funny, but those 2 hours went like this. So that was the moment in which I knew that this was my place and I should stay. And at the end, actually, like, I heard a little voice, a little cute voice saying, "Goodbye, teacher Manu." I said, "Wow, that was something." Like a little child that didn't seen a foreigner before. She was interested, so that was something. Um, so actually, I want to show you how were my classes in there. So just keep in mind that this kid didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Thai. At the end, like, I think like they teach me more Thai than I teach them English. That's for sure. But I try to do like all my resources to interact with them. There are children, so it doesn't matter if there are Thai children, Mexican children, German children. There are kids, and they love games and contests. So actually, this was one of the techniques that I do. So, yeah, these kids like learn it, but I was like spending like the whole day like playing the guitar. So I was doing like all these ridiculous moves, and at the end of each class I was exhausted. But I didn't stop because when I was like asking for food, they didn't understand me. So I was like, food here. So yeah, I was playing Pictionary all day long, or singing songs, for example. They love to sing, so they did. And actually, that was the only Christmas song in English that I knew. So, and just that part. I told them that I was a musician, a composer, or something. They believed. She was very nice. She was the girl that I told you that she was special. Actually, I just remember that in December they had like a fair in their school. So the thing is like each class cooked something for the teachers. So we went from class to class, from room to room to try their food actually. And I went to her class and they were exchanging gifts like in a very Western style. And I was taking pictures, so I didn't receive like any gift, of course. But she realized that I was the only one that didn't have like anything. So she told me, Teacher Manu. And then she opened my hand and she put me like the Santa Claus figure that is there. And she said, Merry Christmas, Teacher Manu. So it was very, very nice. And well, I tried to do this until actually they were a little bit able to present themselves and to be eager to talk in English. So it was really, really nice. She speaks better than I do now. Yeah, so instead of staying just a couple of days, I decided to stay there like 3 months or something, or 3 or 4. And the teachers were very nice to me. So I went to karaoke, I went to weddings, I danced with them. And at the end, the director, like, he offered me like a 1 year full contract. And he told me, okay, if you stay, I will pay you. I will give you like food accommodation, which are like the only things that I was receiving there, and you can keep my motorcycle. So yeah, that's the best thing. I don't know how to drive a motorcycle, but it was pretty cool. So I was not spending a lot of money, but still I was consuming my own resources. And it just happened at the beginning of my travels. I knew that I wanted to do this, but I didn't imagine that it was going to happen like at the beginning. So I decided to say goodbye to my friends there, to the children, and to continue um, during my travels. And then I keep going, and I found an elephant sanctuary. As you can see, I love to volunteer and I love to work with children, also with animals. So I found this one, and it's a sanctuary in which they rescue very old, bad treated elephants. And they have, I think, like 15 or something like that. And it was pretty cool. So before I was working in a pharmaceutical, like talking to doctors and all that crappy thing. And here I was taking baths with elephants in the river. It was pretty cool. So my daily job was, like chopping fruit for them, making stick rice balls for them with special nutrients for the elephants, playing with them, and then taking them to the river and take a bath with the animals in the river. So it was pretty interesting to see that change. And I stayed there for a couple of weeks also. Um, this was a really nice experience. This is Johnny. He was the youngest one that we had. He's 8 years old, and the rest of them were pretty old. Between the average was like 65 years old or something like that. We had one, which name was can't remember what was her name. Well, it doesn't matter. And it was Pan. She was born in 1936, so she was like 78 years old, which has which was above average because the average for them it's between 70 and 75. So she was very famous actually worldwide, and Johnny he was just cute. And yeah, I met someone else in that, and, and I think yeah, yeah, right. Think. That was my cue to continue traveling, and and we keep visiting the country. This is like the Cotaos, like the islands, the party places. I didn't party in those places, but they were very, very, very nice as well. And this is Cotao, and sorry, this one it's Coffee Fee. It's the movie in which the beach was filmed, so it was pretty cool, like really nice views in there. And I don't know if you know these people. It's a village that are called like the Giraffe Women. It's like a village between Myanmar and Thailand, and they are not accepted by near of those both countries. Uh, and they use like these rings to extend their necks, and they are very, very friendly. And she was very cute as well. And then I changed for the first time my first country in Southeast Asia after Thailand, and I went to Laos, and I think this was one of my highlights of my trip. Laos, it's beautiful. I don't know if you have been there, but I can really recommend it. It's really, really nice. The people, it's really nice. That was what amazed me the most. At the beginning, I was traveling with actually with a German couple. They were very nice, and I wanted to go to an underground river that it's under a cave. It's like very impressive, but of course, like we took like the wrong bus, and we finished in the other side of the country. And the German couple were like, "Oh man, we don't have like any more free days. We have like short holidays, so we cannot come back." But I had time, so I decided to take another bus to come back to visit that river. And I remember that I was in the bus and I sat next to a guy and I presented myself in Lao, in very basic Lao, and he spoke English, so we were like good enough, like in between to communicate ourselves. And I told him that I was going to this place, which was called Konglor. And he said, well, the people that are in front of us, they heard us talking about, and they said that they are going to Konglor as well. You can join them if you want to. I knew that it was far, far, far away, so I needed to overnight something in between. But I decided to take my risk, to take a chance with these people, and these people didn't speak any words of English, but they were very nice. So we got to that place, we got out of the bus, and these people were like doing this. And I was just, okay, I'm going to follow them. And it was like 10 or 11 p.m. or something like that. And yeah, then I realized that they were trying to hitchhike in the road. And I was like, oh my God, you did it again. Like 12 p.m. in Laos, you don't have like even an embassy here. You don't know anyone, you're in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And then I remember that actually there were very poor people, but there was like a little restaurant, and they knew the people there, and they invited me to have dinner with them. And then two buses stopped, and they didn't allow me to get in. And they said, no, not good, not good. And then I realized that actually they were taking care of me, which was nice. And 45 minutes after, another bus stopped, and the driver allowed me to get into that bus, but not them. And I told him, no, they are my friends as well. They're coming with me. So they came with me as well. And then we arrived actually to the village, to the town in which was my final destination. And we arrived like 4 a.m. or something like that. And I was just walking at 4 a.m. through the village, looking for accommodation once again, blah, blah, blah. And I heard some steps behind me. I turned around, and it was one of these guys, and he was saying, and I was like, yeah, well, hell, I'm going to follow him. And he took me to his hut, and he introduced me to his wife, and he introduced me he showed me his little baby. And yeah, he invited me to stay with them. They were very nice. So instead of staying like one night, I think like I stayed 1 week with them. And I was helping her in the kitchen, and I was helping him to pick up like rice in the rice field. So that was my experience in Laos with Lao people. They were very, very nice. And then finally I got to my destination. This is Konglo Cave. It's very, very impressive. And then after that, I was just wandering around that village, and I got to another one, and I found a Buddhist temple. I don't know what Buddhism was, and I took a picture of one of the monks, and he smiled me, and I smiled him back, and he spoke a little bit of English, so good to invite me to stay in a monastery with them. I said, yeah, okay, I don't have like any plans, I can do that. So I stayed with them, and I stayed with them like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that. And that's when I converted actually to Buddhism. This was the first time that I knew about it. I fell in love from the principles. Nobody there spoke English, so I didn't know. I didn't have like any idea what was going on. So I was just repeating what the monks were doing. The monks like I don't know, like woke up at 5 a.m. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I should wake up also. I'm not going to be like the lazy guy here. And yeah, that was a really nice experience also. And in Myanmar, I did the same. I live in this Buddhist monastery for several weeks, just in both countries, but they really changed my life in that aspect.
Sorry for any question.
Yeah.
They just got right.
Yeah, but they have monasteries for nuns as well. Yeah, girls are included also. They can do that, and they actually can have like the same life in which men, like the same boats, the same way of life. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see like there are like no major differences, and that was really 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 amazing. And yeah, guess what? I met someone else, and and this was my longest relationship. I traveled with her uh, the rest of my travels, and as you can see, like I decided not to cut my hair or my beard for a long, long time. So at some moment, I was just looking disgusting, like Wilson. um,
She was
and,
still there.
yeah, and yeah, I met her in Cambodia, and we went to Angkor Wat. That was the first destination in which we went to Cambodia, and we were just wondering how to get there because it was a little bit like 20 minutes far from our guest house, and we just stopped a tuk-tuk, like which is like a little taxi in the street, and the guy was really 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 nice. Of course, that I was trying to bargain with him for the price, and he told me, okay, I'm going to charge you half of the price, but you should come to my brother's wedding, which is tonight. And I asked Eva, do you want to go? Yeah, sure. I didn't take pictures because I didn't bring my camera. We didn't know if they were going to rob or rape us or whatever. But we went there and it was really nice. We hung around with those guys, with that family all day long. And the next day he took us to Angkor Wat as well. So he was our own private guide. So it was a really nice experience. This is another one. I don't know if you have been there, but it's crazy. It's like very, very, very surreal. You can imagine, you can see the pictures, but once you are there, like it's even worse. It's even weirder, but it's really nice. And we were just walking and wandering around, and we found these little cute children. They were playing inside one of the temples, so we played with them. We stayed with them. They actually took us to one of their parents' houses, and the parents started to talk to us, and we were starving. We didn't eat like anything all day long, and I think like they saw us like starving and eating our nails, so they cooked for us, and we overnight in their house as well. And our taxi driver friend picked up us at the next morning. He showed us a little bit more about Angkor Wat, and then he took us with his family again. So yeah, regarding to that, the people were very nice. Cambodia, it's a country of contrast. You can see like a big impressive culture and nice people, but it has like a dark side. I don't know if you know about this, about the genocide that happened years ago. This is S21, which is the prison in which all the prisoners were tortured, and then they were taken to the killing fields, which was very impressive as well. And then we went to another surreal place, which is in the coast. One of the best coast and beaches that I have been there are in Cambodia. It's like Thailand, but 30 years ago. So they are very nice. But they have a dark side also, and this is a ghost town. It's supposed to be a ghost town in a place in a village called Kaimpot. And this is Bokor Hill Station. It's a French resort built in the 1920s, and because of the war and what happened in the country, it was abandoned. And there is a cliff behind that casino. It's a hotel casino, so it's said that actually a lot of people, when they were ruined because they lost all their properties, all their monies in the casino, they just jumped from to the cliff that was behind. So they said like actually like it has a lot of spirits. And regarding to modern times, actually, like the Khmer Rouge that took control of the country did a lot of killings and tortures in that place as well. Like this one, for example, which, believe it or not, it's called the Black Palace, and it was the residence of the king at that moment, and it was used as a prison as well. And then we were just walking around, and I saw these guys. Still nowadays, I don't have a clue of what they were doing. So they were kind of praying like in a very powerful way, quite scary to be honest. Um, and I was just taking pictures of them, and then this guy who was like I could say like the most important priest of the leader or something like that, and he smiled me. He come to me, and I didn't know what was going on because I couldn't go like anywhere else. And he took like his big Bible and hit me in the head like this, and then he smiled back and went. I was like, what happened? And then we changed another country, and it was the first time that I visited Vietnam. This is Phong Nha Cave. It's supposed to be like the longest cave in the world, and according to Wikipedia, it was discovered in 1992. It was really very impressive. And this is this is another picture. Holland Bay. Yes. And so we took like a kayak, and we were kayaking all around the ocean, stopping from there were several kayaks all around. And some moment I lost my flip flops, and but I didn't know that I lost my flip flops until we got to the street again. So it was like, what? It's so strange actually to step in the street. And I was like, oh yeah, shit, I've lost my shoes. And this was very random. This is in, I think, Dalat area. Uh, we were in a village in the middle of nowhere. There were no electricity, but there was a house in that village that was working with a generator, and it was the only place that played music loudly. So we approached just to see what was going on, and somebody took me with the hand and took me inside the house, and I was like, what? And they were celebrating a wedding, and yeah, they gave me like hard alcohol actually, so I was a little bit dizzy. And at some moment, I remembered that so in the table they were sitting, like the groom, the guest of honor, and whatever. And the uncle was sitting next to the groom, and they took it and they sat me there. And it was the moment in which like everyone was saying, like some words in honor of the married couple. And then it was my turn, and nobody understood me, but I was a little bit drunk. And I thought like, that my Vietnamese was perfect. Seriously, I think like everybody understood me. And then we went to Sapa, which are the rice field. It's huge. It's very impressive as well. We were doing a hiking trip, and then we met her. Of course, like she was trying to sell me something, uh, And instead of buying something to her, I just talked to her, and then she was speaking very good English, and she invited us to stay with us. Actually, we asked her about where can we stay, like because we didn't have like any accommodation at all, and she said, well, if you don't have like any accommodation at all, you can sleep with us. You can stay with my family. So she took us to her home, and this is her little baby. He has like 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 I don't know, like this hard face. He's a rock star. And yeah, we stayed there for 1 or 2 nights or something like that. And then I went by myself to Myanmar, which for me it was like the most impressive country I have been so far. It's very nice. It's a country that opened itself in 2012, so before that it was not allowed for foreigners to go to that country. There are just putting like ATMs all around. Even with money, it's kind of funny because for smaller currencies they accept kips, which is like the local currency, but they can accept dollars as well. But they don't take like dollars that are folded in the wallet. So the the bill should be like perfectly, like I mean like perfectly. I was carrying all my money in a folder all the time, and so I was traveling actually in Myanmar during the World Cup. So football, it was a big thing for me, but it seems like in Myanmar it was not a big thing at all. So I stay in Mandalay, which is like the second biggest city of the country, so it's very important. I arrived like 11 or 12 p.m. because of the time difference. Mexico was playing at that moment, and I asked to the guy in my guest house, like, where could I see like the match? And he told me, yeah, nothing is open right now. I said, no, come on, it should be. No, try it. And then I walk around a couple of blocks, and everything was dark, no power, no electricity, nothing. But randomly, I found a TV in the middle of the street. It was like a street food court. So some people were, and I think they even have like Sky, so they were watching an HBO movie. And I said, what? It was very random. So I tried to use my non-existent Burmese to try to explain them that Mexico was playing and it was like the most important thing in my life at that moment. And I asked him if I could see the match after they finished their movie. And they were very interested in what I was doing. So actually, like they changed the movie and they played the match, which was very nice. There was a guy sitting in front of the television, and they took out that guy and they sit me in front of the television. I was like, what? These guys are going to kill me now. Like they were watching their movie and it was going to finish, and then wow. And I remember that moment Mexico scored the first 2 goals, but both times the goals were invalid by the referee. So every time I was doing like, go! Shit! And all the people were celebrating with me. And when I was doing this, like all the people were doing this. They were just repeating what I was doing. And at the end, Mexico won, and I was just emotionally exhausted. And then all the people around me came to shake hands with me if they were playing. This is also part in Mandalay. It's one of the biggest wooden bridges that exist in the world also. And then I went to Bagan, which is impressive. It's a very flat area, so you can see all around if you are in a higher position. It was said that in the past there were like 13,000 pagodas or Buddhist temples all around. Nowadays they are 4,000, but still it's like a huge number. It's very interesting to be in the highest point and to see all around. And as far as you can see, you will see temples and pagodas. It's very, very, very impressive. And I remember that I met some friends in that guest house, and we went to one of the highest pagodas to take a look at what was going on all around. But it was closed, so we just jumped. And then a police officer came and he said that it was not a good idea. But and that's where I took this picture. This is one of them from the inside. It's Gaudao Temple. It's very old. And then I met this guy. Um, the thing is like it was very hot and it was like around 45 degrees Celsius or something like that, so I was feeling even more disgusting. I was sweating all the time. um, but it was pretty cool because they were renting electric bicycles, so that was the way in which we were like traveling all around the flat area. And I thought that I was Speedy Gonzalez. I was driving very, very fast and I fell down. And the motorcycle was a little bit damaged, and I was like, shit. And I guess that this guy doesn't have any assurance. I have to pay it. And this guy was like selling water or food or something like that outside of one of those temples, and he saw me and he just helped me with the bicycle without expecting anything, and he just talked to me, and then he gave me a private tour to this pagoda, which is Sanananda Temple. Uh, so people in the Burmese people is like that. It's they are very smiley all the time, as you can see. She was just slowly. She was trying me to sell something also, but she was very, very lovely. And the thing is, like, they really try to communicate in English, to practice their English. So I remember in this one, there were a group of kids and they were trying to sell me something, but I knew the play. So I pretended I didn't know English, so I responded to them in Spanish, and they answered me to me in Spanish, in a better Spanish than I do. So yeah, the next time I was going to invent my own language, like rah, rah. And then I went to this site. It was incredible. It was like a surreal dream come true. It's called Pindaya. It's a cave in which there are like 1,000 golden Buddha images all around, and there are very few lights, but it's very bright because there are so many and so close to each other. So I stayed there like all day long, just taking millions of, well, thousands of pictures. It was very impressive to go there. Uh, and it's very surreal. You don't believe that you are in a place like that, like inside inside a cave, surrounded with those golden statues all around. And I bought my ticket, but I think like the security guard was not taking look of the ticket, so he was just reading his newspaper. And then I went to Kalau, and I met these guys, and I wanted to do a hiking trip from Kalau to Inle Lake. So it was a 3 days hiking trip. Um, it was monsoon season, which was very disgusting because it was like raining a lot. So it was hard work actually to walk all around those 3 days with all the incredible rain all around. But they were very nice and they were trying to practice their English. So they gave me the free tour. I just trust them. They told me, yeah, if you want to go to Inle Lake, which was my next destination, you can walk with us. So I bought provisions for the three of us, and I decided to go with them and see what could I discover in between. And they knew people in there, so we were jumping from one village to another, and those villages were owned by people that work with tea plantations, and this is one of them. And instead of sleeping in our tent outside during the rain, we met this guy, and he invited us to sleep in his hut with his family. And yeah, the baby was really cute. They cook inside. It was like a hut, like probably the size of this room, and two families live there. So we were like I don't know, like 13 people or 14 people, something like that. They live under those conditions, but I think like the people that has less is the people that gives you more. So that's what I really appreciated. And that was a public school in another village, so I couldn't resist. And so instead of doing like the 3 days hiking, I think we did like in 5 or something like that. And I volunteered myself to stay in that school for 1 day to play with the children, to try to teach them, and so on. And then I finally arrived to Inle Lake. It's a strange place as well. It's the second biggest lake in the country, and a lot of people live over the lake. They do it in that way because in that way they don't pay taxes to the government. And but it's very impressive how they do it, and they have like everything. They have workshops, they have temples, they have schools, they have markets, and everything is floating. And of course, like the main important economical resource for that lake, for that people nowadays, it's tourism, but they live from fishing and and the workshops that are installed there, and the agriculture. That's very important for them as well. And then I went to another country, which was Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. I went to the peninsula. Um, the funny thing is, like, I was visiting friends that I met before in many countries. Like, for example, in Indonesia, I went to a wedding in Jakarta with Indonesian people and so on. And I went to Kuala Lumpur to visit a friend of mine, and then I traveled a little bit around the peninsula. Um, but it was just a big city, so I was just looking something, like more real instead of big buildings or so on. So I went to Borneo, and probably that one was real amazing for me. And I have one thing. Sometimes I think that I am Indiana Jones. So in Borneo, I met another person that was as crazy as I do, and we decided to hire a local guide, and we took a flight in Borneo to go to another site, and the only way to get there was by plane. The thing is, like, one out of five planes always crashes, so the adventure was starting from that moment. It was a really shitty plane, and we got there, and the guy, he gave us a machete. He told us, okay, I will try to take care of you, but we're in the jungle, so you're going to see a lot of scorpions and snakes and so on, so it's like, take care of yourself as well. And I was like, ah, shit. I cannot even like upload my Facebook status here. And this is another cave in Nungun Mulu National Park. It was very impressive as well. It's one of the longest cave system all over the world, but it's still not discovered. So there is a lot to explore. And then I did another crazy stupid thing. I climbed Mount Kinabalu, which is the highest mountain in Southeast Asia. It's almost 4,000 meters, something like that. The thing is, like, most of the people climb it in 2 days. So they overnight in the middle of the mountain, and they go to the summit very early in the morning, and then they come back at the next day. I met a friend of mine in another village, in another city in Borneo, and it was very expensive, so I was not going to do it. And then I met this guy, and he told me there is a Malaysian guy that lives out of the park, and he charges like just 1/3 of the total amount of money. But the thing is, like, he said, like, you should do it in 1 day, but you have to overnight with him in his hostel for 3 nights. Like, one night before, the night that you come back, and the night after. I said, like, well, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. So I took a bus, and I met a Malaysian guy. We become friends, and he was trying to do the same thing. So I recommend the same advice that it was given to me. So we went to this place, and this guy, it was really nice. So he set up a guest house in trailer containers, and he was a cook before. And I told him that I was from Mexico, and because he was a cook, he didn't remember my name, so he was calling me chili con carne all the time. And well, both of us, we went to climb the mountain. I did it in a very nice time. The guy told me, okay, if you don't go to the summit at 1 p.m., we have to come back because the park is not going to be responsible of you. So if you got it or you don't, if you come back. So, and it was like, I don't know, like 1:45 p.m. or something like that. And I told him, you know what, where I was here, so I saw like the summit was very close. I told him, okay, you can come back. I'm going to do it. It's like, I don't know, I don't care. Okay, I'm going to try to do it. And I arrived there around like 1:15 or 1:20 or something like that. I was exhausted. It was the first and the only time in my life in which I was feeling so much pain and so much exhaustion. But I did it, and there was nobody there, so it was it was a really nice experience. And I was walking, like an old man when I got there. And then the guy was jumping like a goat, and he was like taking my camera and taking pictures of me, and I was like devastated. The thing was like how to come back. Um, I was out of fuel. I was so tired. I was so exhausted. Like seriously, I was just walking 3 or 4 steps and then, stopping for taking a break of 10, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. Then 10 more steps and doing the same. I was thinking like, what did I do? Like I didn't have like anything here. I don't have like a lamp or a jacket or whatever, and there is nowhere to overnight here. The the thing is like when I was climbing, when I was going up, the guide was always behind me. So I thought, see, I am very good. I live, the guide is behind me, so I should be like really, really good at what I'm doing. Then I realized like actually I was very slow. He was just waiting like half an hour. Then he come to me, and then he waited half an hour, and then he come to me. At at one moment, it was dark, and I couldn't see anything, and I was just coming down, from the mountain. And that was a moment in which I was scared, to be honest, because I couldn't see a thing, and I couldn't see like even when I was walking through, and then after 1 hour, 1 hour and a half or something like that, like it was very, very, very dark. I heard that my guide finally was walking, so he was coming to me. I saw him and I hugged him and said, "Man, you saved my life. Thank you so much." So the first thing that I asked him, "Do you have a lamp?" And he said, "I do, but I don't have batteries." I was like, "You're the worst guy ever." But he knew his way, so actually I was just following him, and he was very, very nice. We got to our camp base, to the guest house in which the other guy were living, and I was not able to stand up, like seriously, like 2 days before I was making jokes of the people that climbed the mountain before me, and I was making jokes of how they walk, and I was walking like pretty much the same. And then this guy, the guy who was calling me chile con carne, he gave me 3 drinks, rice alcohol. He told me, okay, these are 3 different ones. For the first one, it's to release your pain. The second one, it's going to get you to feel better. And for the third one, you're not going to feel anything. And he was right. I didn't feel my arms. I didn't feel anything. I was like completely out. And then he said, okay, now we're going to a karaoke. I said, what? And there were other guests. There was a couple, so actually, like, they helped me to step in, and we went to the karaoke, and we party. So there was a platform in front of everyone, so it was my time to sing, right? But I couldn't stand up, so actually, like, the guys were holding me since I was like holding the microphone, and then that was my experience when climbing. And then I volunteer once again, and I volunteer in an orangutan sanctuary, which was one of my highlights. They were very, very cute. So I just go there with my backpack, and I ask them like if they needed an extra hand, and they, in the school or in the elephant sanctuary, they said, yeah, of course, yeah, you're welcome. We cannot pay you, but we can give you food and accommodation. And I said, yeah, whatever. It's like everything we need to. It's everything I need to. And the thing is, like, the lock of my door was not working properly. So classic that you are sleeping, and in the middle of the night you woke up because there is a little orangutan jumping all around your back. And yeah, at the beginning it was very cute. A couple of nights after it was very annoying. So I was walking them like little children, like this. I was putting like the hand like this, and the little orangutan was doing like this, and I walked them out of the room. But they were lovely, and they were very funny. I mean, just say them, just look at their faces. So in this place, there were living 75 orangutans that were rescued from another parts of Malaysia and Indonesia. It's a rehab center, so they send them free once they are completely recovered. And this is one of the activities that is known for the visitors, actually. So there is a platform in front of them, and when it's time to feed them, all the visitors came together. This platform is a little far away, so they don't get scared. And yeah, all the orangutans came to pick up some fruit, some foods. And then I changed country again, and this was Indonesia. I could show you like thousands of pictures of Indonesia. It's a wonderful country. It's almost infinite. It has a lot of volcanoes. This one, it's called Mount Bromo. It's 2,300 meters over the sea. It's impressive. I woke up very early to take this picture, so the light is around 4 a.m. Then I stayed there, and this one was taken at 5 a.m. So like all the even the shapes and the lights and the contrast changed completely. And this one it's at 7 a.m. And then I decided that it was time to go to the volcano actually. So I went there at 12 p.m. and yeah, look at that. This is like this is the way to get to the volcano. It's like being in Mars. I mean, all around it's forest and jungle. It's like mostly tropical forest, and randomly you are there, like walking in the moon. So it's very impressive. This is the way to go to the volcano, and as you could see here, like this is the summit. So it's very impressive to be above there. And I keep traveling, and I try to visit and to learn more about Buddhism. So I went to Borobudur, which is like the oldest Buddhism temple in the world. It's very nice. It was very crowded, but I enjoyed my visit there. And in Bali, for the first time, this is Bali actually, and this is Monkey Forest. These guys look cute, but they are evil. They're really evil. They don't care. So I remember that I was just walking through, and I bought like instead of buying a lot of water bottles, I decided to buy like a big one out of the park because they didn't sell anything inside. So I bought a big one. Like 5 minutes after I got to the park, a big one just took my bottle, and I was like, what? That was the only water that I had at that moment, and he just ran away with my bottle. And Bali, after it was like at the end of my travels almost, and it was actually the first time in which I met more Mexicans. And Bali, it's very expensive, so it was very cool to meet some more Mexicans because we share the costs. And I didn't know how to drive a motorcycle, but I drove a motorcycle in Bali. I don't recommend it, but it was cool. And then I changed country again, and this was the 12th country in Southeast Asia. After 1 year of travels, this is Philippines. I don't have like many pictures of the Philippines because I haven't worked over them, but I find this one very impressive. It's another volcano, but the thing with this one, and it's called Tal volcano. This is a lake. This is a crater. So the crater is a lake, which is inside a volcano, which is inside another volcano. So this is the crater of this volcano, and this is the crater of another volcano that is inside. And the thing around, it's another lake. So it's like almost infinite. And after 1 month of traveling around the Philippines, I decided to come back home. Why? Because I was running out of money, so that was my first cue. So I did a little surprise for my family. My family didn't know that I was coming back home. I told them, but they were guessing that I was going to come back like 2 weeks after I did. So I set up a trap with a cousin of mine and my brother's girlfriend. So the thing is, like, I was going to arrive to Mexico at 4 a.m. and my brother's girlfriend was going to pick me up at the airport, and then she was going to bring me to my cousin's house, and she was going to have a barbecue, and my parents, my family were going to be there. And I was like, surprise! Yeah. And the thing is, like 3 days before, my cousin called me and she said, your mom canceled the plans. I was like, what? I already bought the flight ticket. She can't cancel the plans. I said, yeah, she did. And you know why? Because it's the World Cup and my mom loves football and Costa Rica was playing against the Netherlands. I was like, no, I mean, after 1 year of travels, I'm not coming back and ruin the surprise because of a football match, right? So we changed the plans once again. The thing this time was like my my parents, my mom was going to see the match. My parents were going to see the match at my house, and then the other side of the family with my cousin, they were going to see the match with them, right? So in that way, it worked. So my brother's girlfriend picked me up at the airport. Um, she took me to my cousin's place. I took a shower for the first time in 1 year. I ate tacos, which was beautiful. It was like the highlight after coming back of my travels. I needed cholesterol and triglycerides. Uh, so, well, they took me to my parents' house and they leave me in the car. So it was for the surprise, right? And I was like a puppy, like waiting in the car with the window open, trying to get some air. And this is the thing. They gathered together with the pretext or the reason of taking a picture before and after the game. So my family were thinking that this was a picture, not a video. So they were posing for a picture, and then this is what happened. So yeah. So I don't know if you see it in the video, but my mom was holding my nephew in her legs, and when she saw me, like the kid was jumping in the air. She almost killed him. And they were very shocked when I came back. So I was like, and they were like, and there were like 5 seconds of silence, like the most awkward 5 seconds of silence. I was like, well, okay, probably you rent my room, right, or something. And that's how I finished my travels. Um, and then I came back to come to Trivago. And that's pretty much, guys. All right. you, you want to ask or comment anything?
Yeah. I already told you about this like volunteering things and so on. I know that for example this one in like orangutan is like really famous, but or like the same one is kind of similar with this those lazy animals. I don't know the name in Costa Rica.
Ah, yeah, like
But they are usually paid. So I don't remember. I think it's around 900 euros.
Yeah.
To be a volunteer there.
yeah.
Well, and I was thinking like, so when you were there, well, I worked with orangutan, were there people who actually paid money for volunteering?
No,
No.
the thing is like, and I know what you mean because volunteering it's always paid, or most of the times it's paid. Um, they do it because they claim that some of the profits that they get goes to the cause that they defend. Still, it's something like I travel with a really 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 low budget, so I wanted to volunteer to do these kind of things, but I didn't have like any budget to pay for it. So I think like I don't want to say that it was luck, but I looked for myself. Like I didn't know what they were going to answer. They were going to tell to me. I just wander and I just go directly to the places with my backpack over me, and I told them, "Hey guys, I know what you're doing. It's really nice. I share the same values that you're doing. If you need an extra hand, let me know. I don't need to be paid. I just do it for the goodwill of helping." And in that way, the elephant sanctuary, the orangutan sanctuary. I also work in an orphanage, and in the school they just received me with the open arms. And the things like they paid me was with food and accommodation, which was like everything that I did at that moment. So I took it. But it's possible. You can do it. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. Perhaps it's something a little bit more difficult if you've tried to find those kind of activities from here, because you do it through internet and you do it by third parties or whatever, or by agencies. But what I did was going directly to the place, stepping in front of them, and asking them if I could help them. And of course, they needed the help. They were good people as well, and they accepted the offer of working and paying with food and accommodation, which was nothing, to be honest.
Well, but you are not limited when it comes to time, right? Because, like, for example, I
Yeah.
right now, if you don't want to make any other breaks in your like career, it would be weird, right? So then you can just like organize something for 3 weeks, and it's not really so easy through the internet.
That's true. I think like the best thing about knowing people that has doing this, because I went to these places also because I was recommended by someone else. So perhaps like now that you know these places and now that people share their experiences with you, at least you know how to contact them. Or yeah, of course. Like yeah, I mean I can give you the contact details like or the name of the places as they were given to me. Yeah, yeah, it's possible.
And can we know maybe which was your budget for the trip?
Yeah, it was with the flight included. It was like 5,000 euros.
1 year.
1 year. Yeah, yeah. So it was nothing. I was saving that money to buy a property or whatever in Mexico. I was, but I didn't want to be hooked up with something material. So I decided to buy myself an experience. Um, it sounds like it was a lot with few money. I met people that actually were doing more things with even fewer money that I had at that moment. But yeah, it's possible. Especially what I did was traveling that way. As you can see, I was interacting with people. I tried to be a traveler, not a tourist. So I was invited to overnight with local people. I did the volunteer thing. So I didn't spend a lot of money because of that. So that's could be like a good reason to go also and a good way to do it.
You were not feeling violent, or it was not aggressive, meeting like the giraffe tribu or giraffe people.
No, no, no.
In terms that it's becoming like a hotspot for all the tourists and they have suffered a lot. So it kind of attraction another.
No. It's going to be funny, but I didn't feel fear in Asia during that year of travels, and not with this.
About the violent situation that they are becoming
Yeah.
more like something that you should visit.
No, I didn't feel it. No, I felt it, for example, in other places. Yeah, yeah. I felt it in other places, like for Cambodia, for example, with especially with what happened in Cambodia. It was like almost yesterday. It was like very close to our times, right? So I met a taxi driver, a tuk-tuk driver, and I was talking to him, and he told me that actually her mom participated during the Khmer Rouge during the movement, and she was living like in a real poor village, and she was working for the intelligence department, so she was actually like pointing people who were like afraid for the government, for the regime. So actually she was like choosing who was going to die and who was going to not to. And this guy, he knew that what happened at that moment, it was bad, but at the same time he was proud because his mom had like a very important role in the movement. So in that way, no, I didn't, not for myself and not for the people in front.
What was your inner drive at the beginning?
The what, sorry?
Your motivation, yeah.
Yeah, well, after working for 7 years in the pharmaceutical company, after being promoted, I thought that that was going to make me happy. That was my goal for that time actually, to have like a very important leadership, or like a very important position, like a very important role in a transnational company. But I didn't, and I was wondering why. And I decided that I should have like experiences instead of zeros in my bank account. And I wanted to do it in an extreme way. I also chose Asia because I wanted to challenge myself in a difficult position in which language could be a barrier as well, in which it was in the opposite side of the world as well. I wanted to trial myself also to discover what I was capable to do and to reach. And those were like my motivations. So instead of a will, it became a necessity.
And how your life is changing after this experience.
Well, the thing is like, yeah, I don't want to talk about like Nostradamus shit or whatever. Like many people there said, yeah, the trips, travels, I'm a completely different person or whatever. I thought that I was going to say that at the end of my travels. Then during my travels, because when I released like everything that was behind me, holding me up, I accepted myself. I said like I like who I was before traveling. I like who I am when I am traveling, and I will like who I am after my travels. So I decided to accept myself as the same person. So the thing is like you see the life with different glasses, but your eyes are always the same.
Well, you are different now than you are in the pictures because you've lost a lot of weight and you've shaved and you look so much better now than all the pictures.
Yeah, it's because of the cactus costume.
Red and furry.
Ah, yeah. Ah, thanks. I have been doing exercise. It's a boot camp.
Your store seems very nice. Like you meet all nice people and everybody help you. But is there any other unpleasant experience that you want
Yeah.
to share that people will avoid when they go to Asia?
N-
Because I know
uh,
that there it's not like everyone is that nice.
I know, and I know. I don't know, like if I was very lucky or seriously, I didn't have like any bad experience. The most awful experience was in Indonesia. So I went to an Indonesian wedding to meet a friend of mine, and then I overnight I stayed at the parents of her boyfriend, and so they were very nice people. And then the little brother decided to travel with me, so we traveled around Java for a couple of days, and that was the first time in which I was sick, like seriously sick. Um, I remember that at the middle of the night or something, I woke up because I was shaking. I was like I was not good. For the first time, I was feeling like shit, and uh, yeah, I know that I'm a drama queen, but I really felt bad. So I knew that I needed to go to a hospital. Um, and we were talking with another friend of his, right? So I tried to wake up my friend, and he didn't wake up. So the other guy who didn't speak English woke up, and he actually took me to the hospital. I use internet because internet is very easy and cheap in Asia. So that's the first time in which, with fear or something, I call my family, and actually I told my parents, hey, I'm not feeling good. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to the hospital. Uh, Everything it's okay. Uh, yeah, perhaps I'm going to die, but yeah. This is the last time that you're going to hear. This is my last will. uh, yeah, but it was just exhaustment. It was like the weather was around like over 40 degrees Celsius. I walk a lot all the time. Uh, um,
The
uh,
monkeys weren't coming in the water.
Sorry?
The monkeys weren't.
Yeah, there are still. So, and I was very tired, so I just couldn't resist it anymore. I went to the hospital, and it was just a minor infection. 2 days after, I was like pretty new, but that was like the most scary, one of the most scariest things that I had. Yeah, and I think it was food poison.
Yeah, too spicy.
Yeah, the thing with the spicy food, when I came to Thailand, especially to Thailand, because the food is really spicy there, and I was feeling arrogant because I was saying, "Come on, spicy food! I come from Mexico. That won't be a problem." So the first soup that I had, it took me 45 minutes to finish it. It was so hot, I was purple, I was sweating, but I already paid for it. So after 45 minutes, I finished it, and yeah, and the guy actually he knew that I was suffering inside, so he just charged me half of it. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it was food poison also. Anyone else?
What's your next plan?
Uh, I, yeah, I have to do the THPI for. I went to Asia. My motivation for going to Asia was India, which was I don't know if it was the best or the wrong decision. I cannot say because I think okay, I didn't go to India at the beginning because it was more expensive. So the cheapest way was to go to Thailand. So I say to myself, I'm going to save India for the last part of my travels, but I ran out of money. So it's still on the list. That was my motivation, India, Nepal, to go to Asia. So probably those ones. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. No, thank you. Thank you for coming. Gracias, equipo.
Let's ruin our next trip.
Sorry? No, thank you for
Our next
coming.
trip. We feel sad about going to Rome now.
We're going to Rome next week, but I just feel sad.